the conclusion that we can all draw from today is that our players don't give a damn about us. There's no chance in hell they do. On the day they could have pushed our bitter rivals' title celebrations back by maybe a week or two in the biggest grudge match in the world, and you lose 5-0 at their stadium against you so that they can win the title. That's outrageous. Obviously they don't care. Starting off with Daniel Candeas, I feel like he's a passionate player, but something I saw in the 80th minute made me feel sick. He had a little giggle and a laugh with Scott Brown and a little wink. You're being pumped 5-0, humiliated in front of millions of people watching you on international TV, in front of your family, 5-0, and you're happy to give it a little giggle. Obviously it means nothing to him. Andy Halliday, oh my God, he knows what it's like to play for Rangers, he knows what it means, but he's just not good enough, is he? I like the guy, I seriously do, and I hate it when our fans go on a witch hunt after him, but he was so uncomposed today, it was just awful. Everything he did, he was so slow to do. Turning, passing, couldn't string any passes together whatsoever. That was a common theme throughout the match, so it shows where our players' confidence levels are at. Halliday as well, a couple of chances were given away because of him, but the most stupid one by far was when the ball kind of was lumped through by a Celtic player, and he tried to shield the ball then by the penalty spot area, realised the player was kind of running towards him, goes to the line and tries to shield the ball again. The ball gets taken off him basically, and if it wasn't for a cracking save by Alnwick, then it would obviously have been another goal. It could have been a cricket score. It really should have been a cricket score. They were all over us. By the end of the first half, we had 2 shots, 1 on target. They had about 12 and 5 on target. They absolutely decimated us. They're so much more clinical. Honestly, it's so disappointing. It's frustrating, but it's now to the point where we expect to be beaten. We expect to be thrashed, not just beaten. How can this team that drew 0-0 with Celtic and almost beat them, and lost 3-2 to Celtic and looked at times during that game that we would have beaten them, how can this team be so inconsistent that we just get decimated 5-0 on the day that means the most? Players would not have had this beforehand. It's just outrageous. At the moment, I don't understand the mantra of Rangers players. They don't get what it means to play for this club. I feel like Alnwick is a talented keeper. He's obviously got his talents about him, but he made some stupid mistakes today. Like, he made a fantastic save, runs out to the far side of the right post, goes to the ground, and then instead of going back to position, he's kind of followed the ball, where he should have just dropped back. And obviously that led to the Celtic man having an easy shot with a pretty much open goal. Cannot remember for the life of me who scored that one. I think it was Tom Rogic. Either way, it was a good goal. But he had a massive target because the keeper left his goal wide open. I don't understand how we're the club that has these situations. It just gets laughed at. Jason Cummings, I feel like he actually wanted it today, but at times he'd be running around like a bit of a lemon. I just feel like he goes through spells of being confident and unconfident. When he's confident, he's good, but when he's not, there's no chance he's going to score. Alfredo Morelos as well. How does he miss sitters against Celtic? I don't understand it. Lumped it straight into Gordon when he was on the floor. Also, he seems to be a really good player, but just a bit like Joe Garner. You know, he does everything apart from score now. How you can start that good of a start to the season and then just pretty much go in a goal drought? He hates it when he plays big teams like Celtic. We just want to see him score against Celtic, that's all. Oh my God, and Russell Martin, he's just awful. He's terrible. He doesn't care. We're just a payday for him. I don't understand why these players don't feel humiliated when they've lost 5-0. Josh Windass, he always looks like the game's affecting. It seems like he understands how he's meant to feel. But on the pitch, you can see that he tries. He really tries, and he's got so much potential. But he can just like get lost for a whole game. Graham Dorrans as well. When he will perform, like. He'll perform when we have 2 or 1 holding midfielders behind him. Then he can be free to do what he does best in an influential attacking role. But at the moment, we have no one who can kind of hold the midfield. We don't have anyone. In fact, let's face it, what we need is someone like Scott Brown. And we're just never going to get that at this point in time. There's just no way it's going to happen. We need Ryan Jack back as well. Ryan Jack at the same time, though, he's a liability. He'd probably get a red card. I think we have one of the worst defences in the league. It has to be said. It's absolutely atrocious. It is just atrocious. There's obviously more positive news, such as Steven Gerrard potentially being our next manager. I mean, people say it's confirmed, but unless there's that, confirmation, which apparently will happen tomorrow morning, Monday morning, then it's not certain, is it? It's something that can still fall through. And despite the fact that I do expect it to go ahead, there's always that chance that he could tweet out, "Oh, I'm never actually interested in the job, no one spoke to me," but allegedly his representatives have been contacted and it's all gone through. Honestly, after today, I just feel so gutted. It's almost like we expect to get thrashed. It should never be the way. That should never be the way. Also, Jason Holt, I mean, I'm slightly impressed with him at stints during today's game, but it's more of our performance of the team as a whole. Like, if ever Celtic attacked, we'd crumble and we'd start to like lose our composure, and players would drag themselves out of positions. We wouldn't be able to string passes together. Even Doherty tries to pass the ball just across midfield. How easy is that? Doesn't even make a player. Goes out for a Celtic throw. We know that Celtic, when we put pressure on them, that's when we have a chance of beating them, and we just didn't. We let them pressurise us. But to be fair to Mercy, he did change the formation, so I mean, he tried there, I guess, didn't he? But what I didn't like about Mercy was, despite the fact that all these goals are going in against us, he was just happy to stand there sinking into his coat where no one could hurt him. He should be screaming at the players, not just whistling at them and just doing a bit of this. He really needs to be laying into them. And do you know what? The one person that tried to allegedly tried to stir up things was Kenny Miller. And I'm sure he'd have done a bit like Joey Barton did and just say it wasn't good enough. But if you speak out, then you know what's going to happen. Honestly, I feel like Kenny Miller would have brought something to that game. He's always a player that can score goals. I mean, hell, he scored against both sides of the Old Firm. The Old Firm is his game, just like Georgia Samaras for Celtic. That would be his game, was the Old Firm, same as Kenny Miller. I do feel like we missed him today, but hey, he's played his last game for us, hasn't he? 38 and pretty much suspended. I think the reason why we're a joke at the club at the moment is because the players just don't really care, as previously stated. Lost for words, honestly, lost for words. The chance to not stop, but push back Celtic's title-winning game. The chance for it not to be against us at Celtic Park. And we go and lose 5-0. Sorry, what? I do not understand these players one bit. Not even one bit. And seeing Scott Sinclair as well, he really annoyed me throughout that game. Obviously, he played well against us, yeah, but seeing him go down like a sack of bricks every time one of our players went near him, that just made me feel sick. Alfredo Morelos, he had a little tantrum. It was almost as if he thought that our fans are going to enjoy that. Personally, I didn't, because number one, he's just kicked out an opponent. And number two, he then goes and pushes the opponent as well and gets himself a yellow card. Like, yeah, sure, fair enough. If you have the passion, then good. But that wasn't about that. That wasn't about Rangers. That wasn't about us losing. That was about him not scoring a goal. And he went into one of his little tantrums, as he does when he doesn't score. But he just cannot score against Celtic. How many times? Steven Gerrard, whoever the next manager is, shall I say, they've got such a huge job, honestly. I mean, our fans are saying we need a clear out. How many seasons have we been saying that for now? How many clear outs have we had? When are we going to get it right? Whichever manager we have needs to have some serious backing, because this is just all wrong. It's so backwards. But of course, by all means, congratulations to Celtic for winning their 7th title in a row. But why the hell can't we even try? 5-0, it just doesn't make sense. Should there be any confirmation on the manager, such as hopefully Gerrard, then obviously I'll be doing a little video on that to try and clarify a few things. But just now, I do not understand Rangers at this point in time. That team, they just need to care, have a bit of passion, understand what it is, just the weight of the game that they're playing, the team that they're playing for, the team they're playing against. Millions of people watching them, they just don't care. But to be honest, I'm done now. Make sure you like and subscribe for more, and whenever the next video is, I'm just done.